Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Shooting the Shift.
Oh dear God.
Are we talking over the intro then?
We weren't, because I've set the audio up so it doesn't actually capture that, but Bryn is now like a startled rabbit in headlights. Milton's drinking invisible.
Wow.
Hello, everybody. We're back on Shooting the Shift. This episode is titled the Back to the Future episode, because we're going to travel forward in time whilst referencing back in time while we talk about things that are coming to the car industry, and some people are pretending like they're new, but they're not new. It's all going to get very confusing. We're not going to have a news with Matt this week, but I'm going to open it off by saying the first electric car wasn't invented by Elon Musk. It was made in 1884.
And it was shit.
Can I just caveat the fact that there was a news article that came out 2, maybe 4 weeks ago, and that's what sparked this conversation. So,
it's a delayed news with Matt, but we're not giving him his intro because you all stopped watching when we put his intro on.
It's fine. Basically, much to Elon Musk's annoyance, as well as not being the first electric car, despite the fact that he bought Tesla, he didn't found it anyway.
Yeah.
Mercedes-Benz are going to be the first certified level 3 autonomous car in the US, beating out Tesla.
But they're not even the first autonomous mode of transport, because we've been riding horses forever.
They're not autonomous.
No.
They go their own way and do what they want.
That's not the same thing.
Actually, I think you'll find the little pods at Heathrow came before Tesla anyway, and they're autonomous.
What, the trains?
Yeah, they're little pods that run from the car park to the terminals.
They're not an autonomous car.
I didn't say car.
They're just a monorail.
I said autonomous. I said autonomous transport.
What about the robots that deliver things around Northampton, but only if you're a burger? They're an autonomous burger car.
They are a burger car. So the next thing that's going to happen is burgers are going to take over the world in their autonomous vehicles when they make burger terminators, and then we're all doomed.
Well, I mean, there's some good features of those little burger cars that would be great. Like when you have a crash in your car could go, please help me up this curb. Please turn me back over. That would be really useful.
I like that those little things plead for their lives.
Yes, they do.
Except the ones in America that I saw that went straight across a level crossing and got demolished by a train.
I mean,
That'll happen too.
that's the issue. So I think rolling it back to the topic of conversation for this first part of the episode, we're going to break the episode into 3 parts. We're going to have the first bit. We're going to talk about electric cars because they're still getting developed. The whole thing's changed since we last talked about them. There's more of them about
a year or so ago.
It's about 2 years ago we last touched on this subject, and there's a whole load of new stuff. And I, as someone who's supposed to be working in the net zero space these days whilst owning Japanese cars, I spend a lot of time around EVs, and I've got to say our previous recommendation where we all kind of like the Honda E, I've gone off it. It's not that great. What I do like is the Hyundai Ioniq 5 and the MG4.
Just have a word with yourself.
Can't. It's a good car.
Just go and get a room with that car and get it out of your system.
It's just a Honda E that's pointy.
It's not, though, because it's got twice the range of the Honda E. And this is the problem.
It's twice the fucking size.
But this is the problem, Bryn, with the Honda E, right? If I want to commute to my office, I can do that 2 days a week on a charge. That's it.
I just want to say my position on electric cars still hasn't really changed. They're not quite there with their range because mainly to get the range on it, it needs to be a crossover, and they're all fucking ugly anyway. But now that we're in the middle of an energy crisis, it's not even cheaper to run an electric car.
It is if you've got solar panels on your roof.
Yay!
So what you need to put in is a really cheap, like, corn burning, like, small little motor generator.
Yeah,
in the car to charge it.
You get some dinosaurs. You get some dinosaurs.
I've never thought of that.
So this is the other thing that's changed. is Mazda's what is it? MX-30 RE-V or whatever they want to call it.
Really
is essentially what we were saying was the most efficient way of doing an electric car, because instead of it's obviously a hybrid of a description, but they're doing it the same way that diesel trains have done it for fucking years. Is the engine that's on board is an electric generator. It doesn't drive the wheels, so it's way more efficient in the way that it uses the fuel that you put in it to drive the wheels. But it also means if you run out of charge on your batteries, you just put some petrol in it and then go further.
It also means
for an hour.
that you don't need to store all of your energy in batteries, which are a really, really inefficient way of storing energy.
Yeah.
It's the worst thing about electric cars is that batteries are awful, and they always will be awful.
Because this is the other, we're going to get really nerdy with physics here. Probably me and Bryn, actually. But
I'm not, I promise.
Every time you convert an energy into a different energy, you have some loss. So what you're doing here is you're generating the electricity in the first place, which uses energy to create the electricity, so you're losing there. Then storing it, which means you're losing it, and then pulling it out of the battery, probably via capacitors, and losing some that way. Whereas if you use the generator on board, it goes directly to the battery, so you're taking out a large number of steps and losses.
And also just the amount of energy that's contained in fuel is, I think even with like carbon nanotube batteries, it's still something like 10 times less energy dense to use a battery than it is to use liquid fuel. And there's just no way around that.
There's only one solution.
Don't say hydrogen.
I was going to say hydrogen.
Actually, see, this is the other thing that's changed. Is for about 10 years, I've said hydrogen fuel is the way forward, and I no longer think that's the case. I think
is that because you watched a video on the Hindenburg disaster?
No, I actually think biofuel is the way forward from this point.
It's not,
because
E85 in it.
The biofuel is a hell of a lot easier for the public to handle without any kind of Hindenburg disaster for a start. You don't have to store it in pressurized containers. People don't have to learn to use a new fuel nozzle that's pressurized and all this stuff. And you can sell it and put it in your old car and keep it going.
But and bear with me on this one. You do need a lot of land to grow it that's currently occupied by feeding people. And I'm pretty sure if we stop feeding people, actually then it doesn't become a problem because there's less pollution anyway. No, biofuels, that's the answer. Biofuels and a little bit of starvation.
Why don't we all put like crops on our roofs? You've got lots of land there.
No.
Think about it.
That's where you put your solar panels.
Yeah. To charge your electric car that you're going to need until we get to biofuels. So,
what about if 80% of you just die?
Or do odds and evens if you're...
Well, there's the opener to this video right there, Bryn.
Just saying, biofuel makes perfect sense if you're not feeding 80% of the world's population.
The biggest problem here is we're 2 years away from the last time we had this conversation, and making batteries, while the way that batteries are used have become better and more efficient, the making and manufacturing of the battery itself is still horribly pollutive. And then recycling the batteries, again, it's got better, but it's still not good.
I think what we should do is get hamsters, right? Lots of hamsters. And start having hamster power instead of horsepower.
Or we just Flintstone it. Cut the floor out of your car.
You remember when
if you've got a Japanese car, it won't have a floor anyway.
You remember what?
Do you remember when we mentioned, like, not even 5 minutes ago about the changing energy being very inefficient?
Yeah.
You realize how many times you have to change energy to power a car with a hamster?
Yeah.
I would like to know what the energy conversion is, because I bet powering a car with hamsters will still be more efficient than steam engines ever were. I bet you could do it. I bet you could do it. I will do that calculation.
The hamster is
Excellent
about.
news.
There's what?
But you can't use Russian dwarves because they're smaller. You've got to use proper ones.
I don't know.
I just
Is that
googled
better or
how
worse?
many horsepower a hamster has, and it says the hamster is about 1/4, 500 of a horsepower.
That's not how numbers work.
Yeah.
You can't
Maybe
have
they meant 1/500th because the comma key is right next to the slash key.
It's 1/4, 500.
1/4500th of a horsepower.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So you're gonna need 4,500 hamsters for one
get one
horsepower.
horsepower.
So we better use Russian dwarfs because they're smaller.
So
Okay,
the next
hang on.
question
I want to
is,
do more maths.
volumetrically, how much do 4,500 hamsters weigh, and how much does one horse weigh?
In hamsters, to get the 300 horsepower that your Stagia has,
Yeah.
you need 1.35 million hamsters.
How much space? Yeah, but the stage is a big car. Can I fit 1,000? Can I fit that many hamsters in this?
Imagine-
What is the cubic volume of that many hamsters?
Imagine how much food, however many million hamsters that was, would consume in an hour.
Probably
then
enough to
compare
make the
that to
biofuel.
My follow-up, going really far down this tangent, my follow-up question is, what does that weigh? And what does that compare to the RB, was it 25, 26 that you've got in your car?
25 Neo, yeah. So what does...
Oh, you have to say Neo. That's important.
They would weigh 202 million grams.
What's that in tons?
Are you asking too many questions? Somebody work that out. I'm just going to look up how much an RB25 weighs.
Well, it'd be 1,000 for a kilo.
Yeah.
So that's 200,000 at that point. No, that's not right either.
2 million.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, and then another 1,000 for a ton. So that's more like two. No,
There is
I've
no
done
way that
something
I
like
need
that.
20 tons of hamsters to power my
Yeah.
Stagia. And also, does anyone want to sell me 20 tons of hamsters?
two tons. 2 tons
I
of
think
hamster.
that's a crime. I think it's probably actually illegal to sell 20 tons of hamsters.
Will somebody just sell me 2 tons of hamsters, damn it?
Yeah, 2.5 tons of hamster, compared to the 250 kilograms an RB25/26.
Well, I just
weighs
need
with
to
its
point
gearbox.
out.
And it's
Milton.
ancillaries.
Milton is sat there having a real dad moment, going, "Oh God, the idiots have run rampant again."
He's also muted himself and not realised it. Like a proper dad.
How did we get from electric cars to
hang on,
2.2
what?
million hamsters?
What's going on? What's
So the moral of the story is,
hello?
like batteries, you need 2 tons of hamsters to power your car. So the hamsters are as efficient as a battery. It's basically where we're at now.
Yeah, what happens is if you power your car
But
with hamsters,
you get lots of cute fluffy pets that you can stroke. So
That's an
if
advert
you
I
power
don't
your
see
car
from
with
Ann
ham-
Summers.
if you power your car with 1.3 million hamsters, it's going to weigh more than a normal petrol engine does, which is the same as an EV.
yeah,
What about cats?
we're not powering the car with cats. They're just gonna
So
lay
How
down.
many
They're gonna lay down in the thing. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're like 15 minutes into electric cars, and what we're basically saying is it hasn't really changed. Our opinions haven't really changed. They're not quite there yet to convince us to give up proper horsepowers and burning dinosaurs.
Electric motors are the bollocks
Yeah, I'll give you that.
because
Yeah,
they
you
are
can't
stupidly
deny that.
good for what they are.
But
It's just powering them.
what if we made, and I think I might have suggested this last time, the entire country, every road has just got one of those things they have on the bumper cars.
Dodge, yeah.
They've actually they've trialed that in
Germany with
Japan?
lorries.
Germany. Yeah.
Germany with lorries. They did trial
They've
it.
just invented the train again.
No, because
Yeah,
you can
and
drive
that's the
this one
problem.
everywhere. You can play bumper cars for real in real life, Bryn. It's not going to go wrong at all.
On the
But the-
roads that you don't have a speed limit. That's a bright idea.
The
Back to
problem,
the
gives
problem
Future
you-
is,
did it.
the problem is we had a very, very efficient. To go back to the rail system, we did have a very efficient rail system for delivering freight to individual companies
When?
In the
before they were all cut in the
1800s.
60s.
Let's not
So-
get onto this because we're going to get onto politics and then the socialism and then the capitalists cancel us, or there's capitalism and the socialists cancel us, and we're not going there. We're staying away from politics.
No, I'm not.
What
I'm
we're
not-
saying is electric cars, too much battery, too heavy, inefficient. Stick a generator in the back of it, charge a smaller battery, use hybrid cars, or use hydrogen so we can all have little mini Hindenburgs.
This is the problem though with electric cars: is to get anything with a decent range, for the most part, you need to pay an extortionate amount of money, or buy a crossover.
Yeah.
Any small car only tends to have a range of 100 miles. It's just not enough.
It is enough if you want it. No, I'm not getting into that. That's dangerous. Those
Well-
conspiracy theories. That's politics too.
Actually, somebody I work with got an electric car since we last spoke about them, and he was
Are
really,
they
really
okay?
interesting. Well, yeah, I thought it was a bit weird of them. And sort of the first 2 weeks that they had it, they really, really loved it. And every day they came into work and were saying how amazing it was, and they were really happy with it. And I was like, okay, now I'm a bit worried when, like, this guy is a proper petrol head. He's really loving them. 2 weeks after that, however, his opinion had completely reversed, and he hated his electric car because they'd tried to do a long journey. And they'd tried to do a long journey before, and it was great, and they'd managed to charge it. Then they tried to do another long journey and had the opposite experience of charging points weren't working, or they couldn't get into them because all of the other electric cars were there. And suddenly it was, we were stuck in the middle of Scotland with 3 miles left because there was nowhere to charge our car. And the whole thing like flipped on its head.
It's actually funny because it's a good point you make with the whole long journeys. But I watched I can't remember who it was, somebody on YouTube, and they did a 2-car comparison. I think they had 2 cars that were basically the same, a petrol version and an electric version. And they did a 9-hour long journey across Australia to test what the time difference was doing a long journey. And they had similar problems. Some charging points weren't working. They got to one where it had, I forget what the phrase they use for it, but there was a Tesla that was parked in the charging point, but it was fully charged, but the people weren't back yet, and stuff like that. And it took them about 40 minutes longer to do the same journey.
That's not bad in
Ivan-
9 hours.
But
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting that it was only that
But
much.
you still had to do the problem with electric cars is you have to pre-plan and schedule stops of, okay, I'm going to stop here because they've got a good charging point, the super fast charging points, and then I've got to stop here, and then but if people are there already charging cars, you're kind of stuck and you have to wait.
Mm.
And
And-
the comparison they made is it's no different than if you go to a petrol station and there's a queue. You still have to wait, and that's not.
So
any
what we're
different.
saying is, and this moves us on nicely to the next point. We need some sort of car that can unplug itself and just drive to a normal charging spot when it's done charging.
What, like a normal parking spot? Like, I finish charging now, I'm going to toddle off.
It's
Like
one of those
potty
weird.
training a toddler, but
Yeah.
with cars.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things that could be implemented because Tesla has the summon feature. I don't know how well it
How's it going to
works,
take the
and I don't
cable off?
know
Is it just
whether-
going to poop it out?
Yeah.
Well,
Just
it wouldn't be
yeets it at the car next door.
If you had it on a retractable thing and it just pushed it out, then yeah,
Oh.
I don't see why it
Now
would
I
work.
can just see the scratches down the side of the paint already.
Do you know, like the Hoovers where you can press the button and the cord suddenly, like a tape measure?
Yeah.
So does this mean occasionally you're going to see Teslas that back up and they get it the first time, but occasionally there's going to be a Tesla going,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like-
It'll
No,
be
because
like-
the
it'll
owner
be
the
like-
owner plugs it in, but
Yeah.
then the car just goes, yeah,
Yeah.
fuck it, I'm done, and drives
But-
to its space. But then
but-
you've got the really interesting thing of whose fault is it when the car that's going to the space runs someone over?
No
Well,
one's fault. Get over it.
This circles back to the whole autonomous driving thing, because there is a lot of debate going on at the moment of if a Tesla in automatic driving mode hits somebody, whose fault is it?
Nobody's. Get over it.
Well, could you not argue? Bear with me on this. Is if it hits a pedestrian, well, it's just driving along down a city street, that potentially the pedestrian shouldn't have stepped in front of 2 tons of metal.
Agreed. Why? Yeah.
It's a Tesla. It's 3 tons.
All right. Sorry.
Why?
3 tons of metal.
Remember how heavy batteries are. But
66% more death.
So going back to that news story, it said level 3 automated driving. Like, I didn't even know there was levels.
Oh no, it's not stage 1, stage 2, is it? Just pulling up to a meet. Yeah, I got a sick electric car. It's autonomous stage 3, fam. I'll get to job centre all on myself.
According to this list I found, level 5 is the full driving automation. So according to that list, anything 4 and below, the person who's sat behind the wheel is in control of the car.
Or has like master control.
Well, it's no driving automation is level 0, which obviously everybody has. Driver assistant, partial driving automation, conditional driving automation, which is the level 3 that Mercedes has got before.
What does that
Tesla.
include?
High drive, and then level 4 is high driving automation. I can go back to the news story if you want me to check.
Have a read while we
chat shit about it.
I can see some benefits of autonomous driving.
It enables cars to drive themselves in certain situations.
That narrows it down.
Like what?
Car parks.
When Milton's cruising for hookers, it pulls up next to the best looking one.
Why does it always end up at your house, Bam?
Because I'm pretty.
But does it just shout random Alexa commands?
Yes, it does. Like you trying to turn lights on.
Does this new Mercedes one? Because the trucks they had 2 licenses, I think, in Arizona for autonomous trucks, and when they were driving in fully autonomous mode, they had this really threatening blue light on the front. Like all of the lights went like blue. Do the Mercedes cars do that as well?
But in red because they're German.
That might be what I remember seeing a Mercedes on the motorway, and it had a light somewhere in like the windscreen, the rear window, but like at the edge at the top. And I think
sure that wasn't
either
just
orange or blue.
Are you sure that wasn't just
Maybe
Trucker
that's
Dave?
What that was.
And he had one of those printed license plates or an Arsenal badge illuminated or something. 'Cause that's what trucks are like, right? Well, we want to offend people who do the Jeremy Clarkson thing.
No.
Change gear, change gear.
No, if you want to do the Jeremy Clarkson, no, let's not go there.
let's not. Let's not.
No, but on that, autonomous driving would be useful, especially in countries like Australia where they're, those road trains where it's one truck, but then it's got like 20 carriages on it, and they're driving down a 50-mile straight road with no other traffic on.
Well, you don't need self-driving with that. You just need lane assist. So level 2, according to level 2, according to this website, some automation but requires human attention at all times.
Well, that's a problem. That's where you get the actual difficulty, because
this is where you get the
humans. It's human error. Cars don't crash, humans do.
The biggest problem with it all is Tesla markets it as self-driving vehicles, but they're not self-driving. Level 3 is can self-drive but require intervention in severe conditions.
Right.
Again, when you would want the car to drive for you.
Right, but all of this has to be managed by some form of AI, and I'm gonna now caveat this with a slightly different AI conversation. Okay, Facebook made an AI, and it decided that Facebook was evil and should be destroyed.
True story.
Google made an AI, and it hired itself a lawyer because it thought it was being treated like a slave and tried to sue for its own independence.
Also true story.
Do you know what the difference is here?
What?
Both of those AIs were not written by the Germans. Now, the Germans...
We'll write an AI.
Controversial.
They'd get it right. They would get it right. And more importantly, I feel like if you went to like a German car maker and go, oh, we've just had this problem that this car has run somebody over and we think it's your fault, they would go, no. And you wouldn't question them. Are you brave enough to fight Mercedes? No. Because you know they're right.
No, I'll just pay off the government to get the decision overturned or rules changed. Yeah. # Hamilton.
I mean, if we go back to actual reference. If we go back to driving automation, I've driven a Tesla before with some level of automation. I don't think we got fully like up to level 2 like it does on the highway at motorway. I'm reading an American article, like it does on the motorway. My biggest gripe with with auto driving and why these things don't work yet is just really, really basic stuff. So we were driving down a straight road with cars parked on it. And what happened was every time I moved to go around the cars, the Tesla would go, no, you're drifting out of the lane. You can't do that. And try to revert me back in again. But I needed to pass the cars. Mm-hmm. So I had to fight the thing every single time because it couldn't see the cars in front yet.
The issue there is just it's trying to combine the two things. You need the car to drive or the person to drive. The two can't communicate with each other, and so that you can't have both of them. Genuinely, a self-driving car is a fantastic idea because, like Milton said, like people make mistakes. Once you've got the programming right and we're there, the car doesn't make mistakes, and the car makes even less mistakes if all of the other cars are operating exactly the same way.
But they won't be.
But that
So this is the other thing is most of the time when you have an accident, it's because somebody's done something unpredictable.
Agreed.
So for a really simple example is they pulled out of a junction when you're coming. They've not given way and you expect them to give way, so obviously you've hit them. But if everybody's
or when I'm on the roundabout and the guy just pulls out the junction in front of me because he doesn't have a brain in his skull.
That too.
You know when people pull out for your roundabout and you're the second car, you look right. Oh, it's clear. Look left. Oh, they started to go. You look right. It's still clear, and then the car in front hasn't gone.
Yeah.
That's how most crashes occur around.
And it's stuff like that. But if everybody's doing exactly the same thing, then there's no unpredictability.
Or even more, you can have cars communicate with each other.
No. Yeah, and that's that's one of the theories I've seen of if everybody's driving autonomous cars, you don't need traffic lights.
Yeah. Well. You don't need traffic lights, but you'd have some sort of control.
But they talk to each other and they just avoid each other.
But this gets me back to that.
No, Bam, shut up. Thank you.
All right, not bad.
But we've got like Euro NCAP safety ratings, right, where everyone agrees, right, this is how we're going to do our safe stands, and then some other car manufacturer will just go, no, we don't do that. That's what they're going to do. Mercedes will talk to Nissan, and Nissan will talk to Mazda, and Mazda will talk to Ford, and then Daewoo and his will just drive by because it doesn't speak other AI car and go, I'm going now and I can't hear what you're saying.
This is why we'll never get to a point without traffic lights and fully autonomous cars where they're all doing the same thing.
But also,
all those cars would have to do is go, I can see a car there and I can't communicate with it. So let's just let that crazy motherfucker through and carry on as we were.
What if
the other car does the same thing? You'll both just grind to a halt and stop.
But that car's not communicating with you, so that car, it wouldn't.
Right. So there's a couple of important things around autonomous cars, and here's Bam to bring you another dystopian future while we're talking about the cars of the future again. You're going to have to be able to update the AI in the car, which means you've got to be able to remotely put information on the car, and the AI can control the car, and that means if someone wants to, they can just stop your car. And then we're back at the point where the government decides to just stop your car and stop you moving about, and then you're a prisoner in your own vehicle. And
Tesla can already do that though. Somebody wasn't.
That's not a good thing.
So they just turned their car off.
That is not a good thing.
Say that again.
This is a whole subject of I hate any device that must be connected to the internet 24/7, or it won't work.
like YouTube that we're on right now?
Well, no, because YouTube's core functionality doesn't work without an internet connection, because that's how it gets its information. A Wi-Fi light bulb, for example, doesn't need an internet connection.
It does.
No, it doesn't.
So it can get firmware updates.
How can it turn on? It's powered by Wi-Fi. If you don't give it internet, it will turn
So
on.
this,
You can
this
have
is where
Wi-Fi
you
without internet.
this is where
I
you
think
get
he
to a
knows
point.
that. I think he's trying to wind people up.
I know, but this is where you get to a point of what happens is I tell my light bulb to turn on. My device that I've told it to turn on goes via the cloud through an internet server to my light bulb, instead of just going directly to the light bulb that's on the same network.
Because it's a world of interconnected APIs, and that's what's going to happen with cars when they're trying to talk to each other. And me and Matt both know how unsuccessful that is at times, and that's when people are going to die.
This is the problem: is all of these manufacturers.
Bren, you are
gonna go,
far. Are you okay, Bren? You are far too okay with lots of people dying this week.
The problem here is all of these manufacturers are going to go with their own proprietary systems and not talk to each other. So we're going to end up in a world where we've got 600 or 700 different systems for no good reason other than they all want to make money.
Same as Windows,
You know
Linux.
People are the problem.
Yep.
Kill them all. Let the AI control everything. And BAM doesn't like that because BAM's scared that the people behind the AI can't be trusted.
They can't, because corporate greed. And do you know
The thing is
why?
you
Do you
don't-
know why, Bren? Because people are the problem.
What if the
People are the
AI
problem.
made AI though?
What?
Then it would, as BAM, I think quite rightly would agree, decide that people are the problem and kill them all.
Have you seen any sci-fi movie or film?
Yeah,
or
but they're
TV
all written
series
by
where they have-
people.
Every single time, the AI goes, "The people are the problem," and then tries to kill them all.
In
I
fairness,
would like to see an
fairness-
AI write an AI movie about AI and see what the AI decides AI would do.
AI
I
would
exists.
trust
You could
that.
probably do it.
I asked ChatGPT if it wanted to kill us all, and I have it on very good authority from ChatGPT that would be unethical, and it doesn't want to kill us all.
What is iRobot, isn't it?
Pretty much.
The three rules. It doesn't want to hurt, can't hurt a human.
Asimov's rules. It can't hurt a human. It
That's
can't.
far too broad.
But that
Yeah.
counts. We're going down a way bit deeper rabbit hole here that's not to do with cars. But that all depends on the AI software itself being written correctly in the first place.
Yeah, people are
Because
idiots.
what it'll interpret it is if we kill everyone, all humans won't get harmed after that.
Yeah. Can't hurt anyone if they're dead.
I'm still keen for this. Like,
But do you know what is not a stupid idea?
What?
Hitting the like button.
That's not a stupid idea. Do you know how you can resist the AI and defy the algorithm? Hit the
It's
like
going
button.
to violetrunning.com and buying a sticker or hoodie or t-shirt or
Show
hat.
him your new
soon.
hat. Show him your new hat, Milt. Put a light on it. Put a light on it. Look at this stealth hat what we have developed with our stealthy technicians. Look at that. Look at that, people. You know you want one. Go and buy one. www.violentrunning.co.uk. They get shipped out really quick.
by robots.
No, not by robots. By really underpaid people who have to sew the stitch in and stuff. Keep
Whoa!
keep
Tangent.
keep people in jobs. Don't let AI take them. Start the resistance now.
So we've talked about electric cars and autonomous driving. What about moving into motorsport?
Yeah, when are the robots going
Motorsport
to beat us?
sucks and it's stupid and it's killing the planet. I'm out.
Stop building V8s for a living then.
He needs a Wii.
Sorry, V10s.
I
No, he
don't
doesn't.
build V8s at all.
He builds
You copy
V10. You,
V8s.
I
just
don't build anything.
He just
You
he just draws them
He
and goes
copies them.
hypothetically. This
I
will
go
be
and
good.
breathe down people's necks until they build it right. Like,
Yeah, what happens is somebody comes in and says, "I need this," but nobody else makes it, so Brendan copies it.
yeah. And then I go, Ryan, not you, Ryan, a different Ryan. Ryan, build it.
or she gets nervous.
Anyway.
right? Right?
Electric
okay.
motorsport.
Yeah. No, just so the future of motorsport.
Cars.
So the first thing is there a future of motorsport, be it electric or internal combustion, where the automated drivers are racing each other and it's entirely manufacturer?
Boring.
Because
Really boring. No noise,
Because-
and there's no unpredictability.
the
Yeah,
crashes can come
The
back.
problem with it's no.
You
di-
could
can do it now.
program
You can
one
load-
of your two cars to just like boom. It'd be great.
I think
All
you're
the-
into Demolition Derby,
I-
and if you watch, was it called AI? There's kind of a bit of that in there. So like, go watch that film.
Oh, Matt.
The thing is,
Isn't
right
AI,
this
isn't
second, you can
artificial
load.
intelligence the one with the little boy?
That's a different thing. Matt, go on, say your point.
I'm gonna say you can test this theory out now by loading up any racing video game, and just put AI drivers into a race. They drive around in a procession because they don't take risks.
No,
You
no,
can't program risks in.
You've never played Forza.
I've been playing Forza, and you're on a really high speed, and you're up the inside, and they just go, "This is my corner. I'm on the racing line. I win," and you end up in the
Yeah,
barrier.
and that's the other side of it. They can't see that somebody's trying to overtake them.
That makes
It's
it
just not-
exciting because there's crashes and stuff.
But why don't you just watch like a simulation of a race then?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
It's just
not
gonna
necessarily
happen.
autonomous, but electric cars. Because recently there was the Champions of Champions in some cold
Race of
country, and it
Champions in Sweden.
was Sweden.
So the other side of this is Formula E has been around for I think 8 years at this point.
Still boring.
Still shit.
And no one watches it.
Because
Just
they
like
changed.
Formula One, really.
They changed cars halfway through.
Not anymore.
The- so change tires, right?
No, their Gen 2 cars, they stopped changing cars mid-race, I think. I think it was Gen 2. And now they're on Gen 3 cars, and they don't even do timed races anymore. It's now number of laps, so it's more like an actual normal motorsport.
But it's not quite an actual motorsport yet, is it?
I quite enjoy watching it at times. The problem is they're only doing it on street circuits. And watching street circuits gets very dull because you make one mistake and you're in the barrier, and then there's a safety car.
That sounds
How-
like
how
crashes.
are
I'm
they-
into this.
How would they cope? Say, how would an electric Formula 1 car cope at Spa?
I don't think anybody's actually run a Formula E car around Spa. But it's the same as
Or Silverstone, or any.
it's the same as what they'll do with Formula One. They have a set distance, and no matter what length the track is, you do that distance to the closest lap, and you just increase or reduce the number of laps depending on the length of the circuit. Unless
Why
you do
can't-
rallycross,
why-
where they just do 4 laps no matter what track you're at.
Why can't they? But why do Formula E always run on city cars? Okay, it's cool because it's quiet and they can put it on during lunchtime and no one's going to hear them.
Their original point was, when they first started doing this, was we can run these races on city streets in the middle of city centres because they don't make any more pollution. That was the basic theory behind it.
But then they've got 30 trucks turning up, or 40 trucks with
to be
support.
honest, I don't know whether they're all electric support trucks or what. I don't know. But the other thing is, everybody's going to go to electric eventually because World Rallycross has moved to electric cars this year.
And we all saw how crap they was apart from Britain Autosport.
They had no
What's
soul.
the point? What is the point? Rallycross was cool because it was one of those almost unrestricted things where they let you do mad things with the car, which most race series don't let you do cool engine stuff. And now they've gone, yeah, forget about engines. No.
Yeah, because there was an Autosport live action and quite a few rally cars came out, some autocross, blah, blah. And then it was the rallycross cars, some older ones. And they're, and then they're doing their thing.
That's the thing is, if you take both versions of car, electric or not, and isolate just the actual racing itself, it doesn't make any difference. The racing is still fun to watch. If you add in let me finish before you start disagreeing with me. If you watch both races with headphones on where you can't hear anything, the racing is still the same because it's still racing. If you take into account the whole experience of the sound of the cars being really loud, the sound hitting you in the chest, and all of that, it enhances the excitement. You just don't get that with electric cars.
Yeah, because that happened.
The whole package you've got to look at.
But that's my point, right? That's
Motorsport
why
is
I'm
a
into
package.
motorsport. Motorsport's a package deal. Like
And
that
that's
time
why-
that you inevitably date a girl who's got a kid. They're a package deal. It comes together. You can't get rid of the noise and go, oh, look at the cars going around. It sounds like Scalextrics. It's crap.
The thing is, everybody had the same conversation when F1 went to the hybrid engines they've got now. Because the sound was so much quieter and didn't hit you in the chest as much.
But the sound is still there.
Some of the excitement went away. It didn't
Yep.
all go away because there's still sound.
Didn't
but
we
it-
all agree that hybrid is like the closest thing we'll get to combining
well,
electric?
Hybrid's fine. We accept hybrid.
Well, this is the thing.
Hang on. Are we, as car people, just agreed that the Prius was a good idea?
No.
No,
is that-
that's different.
That was
That's
a
a different-
hybrid.
that's a
They
different
don't
kettle of fish.
even sound
So-
good. You could straight pipe a Prius and it would still sound awful because it's got like that weird gearbox thing.
Because
going.
what you'll get
But Brent,
with-
you
what you'll
never
get with the
complained about the noise of my Lexus.
I've never heard your Lexus.
You were
So
at
the-
events
the-
with my Lexus.
the other thing you're going to get here is if you modify a hybrid, in this case, for example, a Prius, every time the engine stops and starts, you will hear the startup on your straight pipe exhaust. And it'll
Oh,
sound
some
awful.
people would really like that. Some people actually watch startup videos. Like, have a word with yourselves.
I bet you've watched starter videos of old
Only because I
engines.
can't find flyby videos.
So the other way of looking at this is we're going down the hybrid model is what British touring cars did last year, and they brought in the hybrid setup. I think it's run pretty similar to how Formula One does. I don't think they use the turbos to make energy and all that stuff. It's a hybrid system with an extra boost off the battery. The way that they've done it is every single lap you get a set amount of time to use the hybrid system like nitrous on a button. However, if in the previous race, for example, you finished first, you only get one lap. Whoever finished second gets 2, whoever finished third gets 3, all the way down to 10th place, and everybody else gets the full 15 laps or whatever it is that they're doing. Putting an element of strategy in there to be able to attack and defend and all that stuff and give you that extra boost out of certain
Does it carry
corners and
over
stuff
to the
like
next
that.
race? So if in the first race you're...
If you don't use it all up in a particular lap, you lose it. But what they also did is if you've run out of energy and tried to use it too early, you get timed out of the system for like 2 seconds, I think it is. You have to be up at a certain speed before you can use it. If you go early, you get cut out for 2 seconds. It's actually a really interesting concept.
I missed
am
that
going to
touring
make
car
an
season.
alternative suggestion here. Internal combustion engines with nitrous.
That's essentially what that is. It's just
Nope.
a battery instead of nitrous.
Electric nitrous.
No.
Enos. Unos. Yeah, IMX5 is the answer.
But it's not
Why
tacos at the answer. I've got a picture
why
there to
aren't-
prove it.
Why aren't we all racing MX5s? Every car, every race is just an MX5.
Well, mine's
Hill
broken.
climb, shut up. Rallycross, MX5. Formula One, big gay wing, splitter, Formula One. Name another motorsport, quick, go. Matt, another motorsport.
Trophy
Uh,
trucks.
MX5 lifted with mud tyres. Done.
V8
Next.
supercars.
Matt
Mantas.
has V8.
Yeah, done. Next one.
Next motorsport, go. Bryn.
Porsche Supercar.
NASCAR.
I think you can put a Porsche diffuser on the back of one of them. Done. Well, the
NASCAR.
next
The engine
one.
in the back.
NASCAR.
Yeah.
Impossible.
shit-
MX5 can't go that fast.
Yes, they can. You can put the Panos wide body kit on it, and that'll make it really big. You put a V8 in it. Boom. Done. Next.
Formula E.
Destruction Derby.
Formula E. There is an electric one in America. It's a yellow one. It's called like Daisy something. It's slow.
There's
Destruction
another one
Derby.
with
Can we
a
go- can we
really
go
cool
dri-
body kit.
Can we go drag racing and put a jet engine in the back?
Yes. They did it on a Peugeot 106 at Pod, so why not?
Yeah.
I've just solved it, Bam. And on that conundrum,
I think that's it. Right. So what we've decided is
MX5 is the answer.
Electric cars are rubbish. Don't trust corporate greed or AI.
Hmm.
People are the problem.
Yep.
And MX-5 is always the answer.
And buying merch is always cool.
Buy merch. Hit the like and subscribe button. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Goodbye.
And cut the aerials off your Merc.
That's the perfect ending.